Good evening, everyone. This is a bed of bench grafted apples that I've done this year. There's about 200 apples in this area here. I just counted them, and I have had really good success. Very seldom will you come across these rows and find one that did not take. And if these were all my scions, then I'd have a higher success rate. Some of these scions that were shipped to me from all over the United States, and some from even further than that. And so I can't control the quality of scion wood. But nonetheless, out of this row of 200 bench grafts, only about 4 or 5 that did not make it. So if they did not make it, I just let it grow one shoot from the rootstock. That's 2 that didn't make it. All these made it. This one has rootstock growing. So I showed this in another video. Once the graft takes, I let one shoot take off and the other one gets tipped. So if there's more than one shoot, for example, here's one, 2 strong shoots. What variety is this? Oh, that's pink parfait. Oh, I let this one grow because I wanted scion. So if I need scion, I'll let 2 grow. But here's 2 also, red love will do so. I also need scion off of that one, so I'm gonna let 2 grow on that one and then reduce it to 1 later. So coming down these rows, it looks like most of them took. So this one was tipped and this one is growing. There's only about 2 more in here that didn't take, or 1 more right here. One that didn't take. And these results are difficult to fabricate. I'm not showing you all the best ones I got because they were all planted out here. This is 200 seedlings here. 200 rootstock, apple rootstock that was grafted, all bench grafted, and you could see the results. So showing you the results, and now I'm gonna give you some tips on how to have success bench grafting. That was the one that I didn't miss. So that's a total of like 4 or 5 out of these 200 that did not make it. So first of all, make sure you order good healthy rootstock. I used Copenhagen Farms. This is G935 rootstock. And it's worked pretty well. So I use parafilm or buddy tape as the base roll before I apply. The first taping is with the buddy tape or parafilm, and then over that I use electrical tape, and use a higher quality electrical tape because I use 3M products, because the other ones will tend to unravel and not hold. So electrical tape really cinches things down and holds them down. And if I was just to put parafilm without anything over top, it would not hold the graft as long as I wanted. I really want these grafts supported for longer than the parafilm can hold up in the sun. The other thing is, make sure your scion wood is good quality. If your scion wood or rootstock is something other than green when you cut through the bark, do not graft, because all your grafts will be useless. You want to make sure everything's alive, everything's healthy. Make sure your budwood is stored properly, as cold as possible but not freezing. Same with your rootstocks. Make sure everything is damp but not wet. Make sure to use a very sharp knife. I just use a utility knife from Harbor Freight. Utility knife from Harbor Freight. Make sure you wash those blades because they come in all oiled up so they don't rust. Make sure those blades are washed. And when you make your cuts, I just do one diagonal cut, whip with no tongue. I believe that the single most important ingredient in grafting success is speed. The quicker you can get that cut wrapped up so that it does not oxidize, the higher your success rate will be. You can spend hours trying to align those cambiums. By the time you've aligned them, they've oxidized. So speed in making your cuts and taping them up is more important than perfect alignment. Make sure you get the best alignment you can, wrap that sucker up and tighten it down, and do not let it oxidize. Before you make any cuts, make sure you have a strip of parafilm ready so that as soon as that cut is made, you can slap it on that rootstock and parafilm that together so that oxygen is no longer getting into that cut. Try to do your grafts in a cool environment. Make sure you're not touching the cut portions of your wood after you've cut it. Do not touch your wood that's been cut open because you're infecting it with whatever's on your hands. Do not let the sun shine on your cut ends. That will damage the live tissue. What else? As soon as that rootstock is grafted, keep it moist. Immediately put it in damp sawdust. Do not let it sit in a bucket of water for any longer than 24 hours. Yeah, you can let them soak a little bit, but don't suffocate the roots. Don't soak them forever before you get them planted out. If you got to throw them in a bucket of water as you're working, fine. But just get them into some damp sawdust if you don't get them planted out. They can stay in damp sawdust for a couple weeks, but as soon as they start budding, as soon as you start seeing green coming out of the buds, then you want to get them planted out. I found that a nursery bed is much better than pots, but if you have to, I've done it in pots. I have done it all sorts of ways. These are my apples. My pears are in pots this year, and I wish that I put my pears in the ground also because they're kind of not doing as well in pots as this bed here. So if you order larger rootstock, you can probably get more growth in the season, but I do expect at least 2 to 3 feet of growth out of these grafts this season. Here's another one that didn't make it. And it looks like the rootstock was the weak point on this one. Everything else seems to have done pretty well. So that's just some of my tips on successful apple bench grafting. I hope that you guys have gotten something out of this, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.